57% of all data breaches are attributed to poor patch management. That means 57% of data breaches are entirely preventable. But what's patch management, and how can your business ensure that you're not one of the 57%? Well, that's the topic for today's video. Hi friends, if you've not been here before, my name is Jonathan Edwards and I'm a business IT consultant from the UK. I help businesses stay secure and get the very best from the technology. In this video, I'm going to talk about patch management, also known as patching. And although it's a very boring subject, it's really important for your IT security at home and in your business. Well, why is it so important? Well, I've mentioned that stat already. 57% of data breaches are because of poor patch management. That's the bad news. But the good news is every business can do something to ensure that it doesn't happen to them. But before we talk about what your business can do to ensure that its patch management is really good, let's talk about exactly what patch management is. Well, we all use software and lots of it. If we think about our computers, they run Windows 10, which is software. We use Microsoft Outlook for email. Again, that's software. We use Google Chrome for web browsing. Software. We use Adobe Reader to read PDFs. Software. Then we look at our smartphones. We might have an iPhone or an Android. Both are run using software. If we think about all the software we use at home and in our businesses, it really is software galore. But no piece of software is ever perfect, and that's where patching comes in. The manufacturers of the software developers, will release a patch to usually fix something within the software. You've got to think of a patch as a fix, or even some kind of vaccine. It is there to fix a problem. Now, there are three main reasons why a software developer will release a patch for their software. So let's have a look at each of these three reasons in turn. The first reason why a software developer would release a patch is to fix a problem with their software. They might have realized there's a problem or a bug with the software, so they'll create a patch and they'll release it, and that will fix that problem. Nice and simple. The second reason might be to release some new features for the software. Let's think about our iPhone. Sometimes we'll get a prompt to update our iPhone to the new iOS version, and when we do, we'll get some new features. The same thing with Windows 10. Microsoft will release feature updates, and when we install these to our laptops and our desktop computers, we'll have some new features available. So that's the second reason, to install some features for the software. The third and the most important reason why a software developer will release a patch is to fix a security problem. Software developers often find security flaws within the software after it's been released and when millions of people in the world are using the software. If there's a security issue with it, it might be a way in for cyber criminals. So the software development company will urgently issue a fix and they will release it to the world, and it's up to you as a business to install that as soon as you can. Now, when it comes to your business, it's not just computers that have software on them. Let's have a look at all the bits of technology that you will use inside of your workplace. Yes, you'll have your laptop or your desktop computer, but people will also have a VoIP telephone on the desk. You'll most likely have wireless, so you'll have access points dotted around your building. Then if you look inside your comms room, you might have a firewall, a router, some switches. You'll have printers that are used for printing documents. All of these devices are run using software, and the manufacturers of these devices will often release new updates for the hardware, which keeps them secure and possibly adds new features. The updates that we have for our hardware is commonly known as firmware. So far in this video, we've talked about patches that are available to fix security issues and add features to your hardware and software. But what happens when you've got a piece of software and it's got a critical security issue and there isn't a patch available? Well, this is becoming a common occurrence, and these are known as zero-day vulnerabilities, and these are a huge risk to any business. A good analogy when it comes to zero-day vulnerabilities is the recent COVID pandemic. There was a pandemic which was affecting a lot of people in the world, and it was spreading. People were rushing out trying to create a vaccine which would hopefully put an end to people's suffering. Finally, we've got a vaccine, and it's just now been rolled out across the world. The same thing happens with zero-day vulnerabilities. When these are identified, the software companies have to act fast to create a fix that can then be applied across all the devices in the world. The reason why it can become a massive issue for any business is that window between the identification of the security flaw and the patch. During that window, hackers know about the vulnerability and they try to take full advantage. Only a few weeks ago, Microsoft identified a zero-day vulnerability in their operating system. It became known as the PrintNightmare. This vulnerability potentially allowed a hacker to run code, install malware, create new user accounts on servers and delete data. It wasn't great. The problem that my IT company and other IT companies had is there wasn't a fix available, so we had to work together to develop a little workaround. Thankfully, Microsoft did release a fix, but that fix caused a few problems as well. So with all these bits of hardware and software in our businesses, how do you, the business owner, ensure that everything is updated? Well, a lot of businesses don't, and that's why there's a lot of cyber attacks and data breaches. Now, as you know, I love stats, so here's another one. 74% of businesses don't apply patches because of a lack of staffing. Now that is horrendous. Now, do you remember the huge ransomware attack on the NHS in the UK back in 2017? It was caused because of a security flaw that was identified on the Windows operating system. Now, Microsoft did release a patch, but the NHS didn't apply that patch to their computers months after Microsoft released it. That ransomware attack ended up costing the NHS £92 million. That's frustrating. So hopefully by now we've taken a boring topic, but you know the importance of good patching in your business. So how do you, the business owner, ensure that all your devices are up to date? Well, the first thing is you as a business owner shouldn't have to. You've got far too many things to be concentrating on other than patching your hardware and your software. That's where a good IT department or a good IT support company will come in. A good IT department or a good IT support company will get all these patches and make sure they're installed on your devices in a timely manner, therefore keeping your business safe. Now, I recently made a video on the Cyber Essentials framework which exists here in the UK. If you've not checked that video out, I urge you to do so. Now, the Cyber Essentials framework dictates that software patches should be installed on systems within 14 days of being released. Now, I think 14 days is quite generous. I would be aiming to get them installed within 7 days. Now, here's the thing. I often go into new businesses and the first thing I check is the status of the patching, and often it is well off. I've been into customer sites, I've been into small businesses, and the patching hasn't been done for more than a year. Now, can you see how this would be a massive risk to your business? That is how important software patching is. So what's my advice for you business owners watching this video? Well, as I've said, you shouldn't be the one making sure that the patches are done on your hardware and software. You should be outsourcing that function to an IT company, or you should be trusting your in-house IT department. But how can you make sure that they're on top of it? Well, you should be requesting a monthly report which shows the status of your patches, all your devices and all the patches applied. This at least will give you some peace of mind. Please don't assume that your IT company or your IT department are applying patches, because often, as we've heard in this video, a lot of them aren't because they're just far too busy. I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it informative. Why not subscribe to my channel?